In our 5th year of marriage, I told Jason I wanted a divorce. The reason was that I found potato chip crumbs on his passenger seat. And he never let me eat in his car. He scoffed. Is that really why? This time, I didn't lower my head like I used to. I just looked at him and said seriously, yes. That's exactly why. When I took the car to get washed, the attendant frowned and asked me, "Ma'am, there are snack crumbs in your car. Maybe you should get an interior deep clean?" I was taken aback and instinctively protested. No way. Jing couldn't stand anyone eating in his car. He'd argued with me about it several times. How could there be snack crumbs in his car? The attendant gestured for me to look, and I leaned forward to peek inside the car. Sure enough, there were yellow potato chip crumbs on the passenger seat. They were mixed with seasoning powder, scattered in the corner. When I drove the car home, I sat in the underground garage for a long time. Finally, I turned on the dashcam. After searching for a while, I quickly found the segment from yesterday afternoon after work. After a moment of silence, the door closed, and a familiar female voice laughed. "You're pretty punctual today." The voice was pleasant, with the delicate sweetness of a young girl. However, my heart grew cold in that instant. Jing said lightly, "Why did you come out so early? Didn't your supervisor say anything to you?" Laura laughed. "They all know about our relationship. Who dares to stop me?" If a mature woman like me had said that, it would have sounded manipulative and pretentious. But coming from a young girl who had just graduated, it sounded bold yet charming. Sure enough, Jing chuckled and didn't say anything else. I suddenly recalled when we first got married. At the time, I was still working at his company. One day, I saw him on the street and wanted to say hello, but he walked past me as if I weren't even there. When I mentioned it at home, he just frowned and said, "I don't want anyone at the company to know about our relationship. What would people say about me? Bringing my wife into the company for personal gain?" After that, his parents also wanted me to stay home and take care of his daily life. So I quit my job and became a housewife. But it turned out he wasn't ashamed of his relationship with others. He was just ashamed of his relationship with me. The sound of a snack bag tearing snapped me back to reality. Laura was crunching on potato chips. Jing said nothing. "Oh, I dropped some potato chip crumbs in the car. Sorry," Laura said. "It's okay," Jing replied casually. "Just wash it off when we get back." After a pause, he continued, "Don't eat so many snacks. I'll take you out for something nice later." There wasn't much else to say after that. In the dimly lit garage, I sat in the car for a long time in silence. I tried to stop myself from thinking about the past, but I couldn't help but recall 2 years ago when I was rushing to work and didn't have time for breakfast. So I got into Jing's car with 2 buns. He shouted at me to get out of the car. "Don't eat in my car." I hurriedly explained, "I won't drop anything in the car. These are mushroom-filled buns, they don't have much flavor." But he just gave me a disgusted look and drove off. I was left alone in the garage, holding the buns, stunned. It was raining that day, and it was hard to hail a taxi. As I rushed out, the heel of my high-heeled shoe broke, and by the time I arrived at work, I was a mess. My supervisor scolded me mercilessly. I had already been feeling a bit hypoglycemic, and since I hadn't eaten breakfast, I felt dizzy and almost fainted while standing there. It was only thanks to a colleague who handed me a packet of cookies that I managed to hold on. But now, he allows others to eat in his car. It turned out his principles weren't set in stone, he just hadn't met the right person yet. I closed my eyes for a long time and pulled out the divorce agreement from my bag. This agreement had been printed out 6 months ago, but I'd never found the courage to bring it out. To be honest, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I've loved him for so long. He's taken up my entire youth. From the day I fell for him. I've been waiting for him to notice me. Then he fell in love with the school beauty. He was with the school beauty. Mom didn't approve of him marrying the school beauty. So they broke up. He was devastated and, under family pressure, chose to be with me. But after waiting all these years, I never waited for him to fall in love with me. Actually, the moment I saw Laura, my woman's intuition sounded the alarm. She was too similar to Ji Zhang's first love. Both were stunningly beautiful, passionate, and fiery yet adorable. I noticed his gaze linger on her for a few seconds before he reviewed her resume. Even though her qualifications didn't match the company's requirements. What first made me feel something was off was when Laura called. It was all work-related. But an intern calling the president directly was already unusual. At the time, we were having dinner, and Ji Zhang suddenly put down his chopsticks and hurriedly answered the phone. His voice was tense, as if he was nervous. "Don't worry. I'll call the minister and explain. He won't blame you." After hanging up, he stood there for a moment. Then his lips curled into a smile that he couldn't control. That night, he was in a good mood and even sang a song while taking a shower. But I felt like I was in an ice cave. At first, Ji Zhang probably didn't think anything of it. He didn't have much interaction with Laura, and their occasional phone calls were strictly professional. But feelings like these can't be hidden. Even if you cover your mouth, they'll escape through your eyes. He started coming home later and later, staying up all night typing on his phone. Like a lovesick teenager. No matter how much I cried or threw a tantrum, he would just shut me down with one sentence. "If you can't make it work, you can divorce me." And I would fall silent. Looking back, it wasn't him who defeated me, it was my love. But now, I don't want to love him anymore. Divorcing over some potato chip crumbs sounds pretty ridiculous. But this was the final straw that broke the camel's back. When I handed the divorce agreement to Ji Zhang, he was typing and took it from me impatiently, tossing it aside. "What is this? Are you buying a house again? I've told you so many times that house prices are." I interrupted him. "It's the divorce agreement. You should at least take a look. There are some property division matters I'd like to discuss with you." Ji Zhang froze for a moment, then picked up the document and flipped through it casually, snorting derisively. "Jiang Yao, when did you learn to use the cry, scream, and threaten suicide tactic? I've been supporting you, providing for your every need, and now you want me to act out a soap opera with you?" I looked at him and said, "If you're not suffering from dementia, you should remember that I used to have a job. It was you and your parents who insisted I quit to stay home and take care of you. Now, a live-in nanny in Seattle starts at $8,000 a month, which is more than enough for me to support myself. So you're not supporting me, I'm the one taking care of you. Don't think too highly of yourself." Ji Zhang looked up at me in surprise, apparently not expecting me to speak to him like that. Then he angrily threw the divorce agreement aside. "What the hell are you doing all of a sudden?" I replied calmly. I saw potato chip crumbs on the passenger seat. Ji Zhang furrowed his brows. "For this?" I nodded. "Yes. Just because of this. If you don't agree, I'll sue you. But making a big deal out of this won't look good for you either." Ji Zhang stared at me intently. After a moment, he snatched the agreement back, took out a pen, signed his name on it, and threw it at me with a cold smile. "Are you satisfied now? Jiang Yao, I'm telling you, don't come begging me like you did before." He sneered. Like a dog. My heart ached as if it had been squeezed. In the past, when I was most angry, I had also mentioned divorce. But in the end, it was always me who gave in and begged him to reconcile. He knew exactly where my weakness lay. He also knew exactly how to hurt me. But now I won't let him. I picked up my clothes. Let's go. We might as well go get the divorce papers. Jijing didn't mock me this time. His expression grew serious as he stood up and stared at me. Jiang Yao. Are you serious? Do you know that the house you're living in, the car you're driving, and your quality of life are all because of me? Think it through. Without me, you're nothing. I glanced at him. Stop dragging your feet. The Civil Affairs Bureau closes at 5. If we're late, we'll miss it. All right. Jijing frowned. Jiang Yao. Don't regret this. Getting a divorce certificate is much more complicated than getting a marriage certificate. There's also a 1-month cooling off period. After leaving, Jijing didn't even glance at me. He drove off, leaving me alone at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau. I hailed a taxi to go back and pack my things. Under his sullen expression, I only took a few pieces of clothing and left. Most of the things I've acquired over the years belong to him. Now I realize that my own belongings are only a small portion. A 28-inch suitcase is enough to pack everything. Without time to rent a place, I stayed in a hotel for now. When I finally lay in bed, I realized belatedly that leaving Jijing wasn't as difficult as I'd imagined. Before, I'd never dared to imagine what it would be like to leave him. I thought I'd be heartbroken. But now, it wasn't nearly as painful as I'd feared. On the contrary, there was a sense of relief, as if a heavy weight had been lifted off my shoulders. Maybe I never loved him as much as I thought I did. I had just gotten used to loving him, completely unaware that in this messy marriage, my love had been gradually eroded away. The next day, I had planned to sleep in and enjoy the rare moment of relaxation. But I was woken up by the ringing of the phone early in the morning. I reached for my phone with sleepy eyes and saw that it was Jijing's mother calling. As soon as I answered, Mom's voice came through. Sorry to bother you, Xiao Jiang. Before I could say anything, Mom continued in rapid succession. Remember to remind Jijing that his uncle is having his birthday next Wednesday. Don't forget to tell him to come home. Oh, and don't drink alcohol then. Wait for him to drive you back. I rubbed my temples. Mom, why didn't you just call Jijing directly? Mom replied naturally, oh, I didn't want to wake him up. He works so hard every day. Unlike you who gets to enjoy the good life at home. This was something Mom often said. In Mom's eyes, Jijing was exhausted from sitting in an office all day. Me staying home to cook, do laundry, clean, and take care of Jijing's 3 meals a day is enjoying a life of leisure. When she asked me to quit my job and stay home, she promised to hire a maid to do the housework. But then Jijing told me he doesn't like strangers in the house. So if I'm just sitting around, I should do it myself. I clenched my phone tightly and forced myself to say, sorry, Auntie. You probably don't know. Jijing and I have already divorced. After saying that, I hung up the phone without caring about Mom's loud shouting on the other end. Before I could even catch my breath, Jijing's phone rang again. I answered it, and his voice sounded emotionless. Come home immediately. Your parents are here. I knew it. With Mom's temper, she must have come to scold me. I refused outright. You handle your family matters yourselves. I'm an outsider and won't get involved. Your parents are here too. He hung up before I could respond. Staring at the black screen, I sighed. Since things had escalated this far, it seemed I couldn't avoid it anymore. Well, so be it. There were some things I'd wanted to clarify for a long time. When I got home, sure enough, Jijing's mom gave me a glance and smiled. You're back? Oh, it's normal for young people to throw tantrums. Xiao Jiang might have been feeling cooped up at home, so it's good for him to go out and clear his head. But Xiao Jiang, couples should only argue every few days. Jijing has to work to support the family. Besides, Your father and mother are both so old. You shouldn't trouble them to fly all this way. It's too hard on them. I frowned slightly. Ji Zheng's mother always liked to talk like this. She was polite on the surface. But she was actually a wolf in sheep's clothing, hiding her true feelings. Ji Zheng sat on the sofa as if he hadn't heard a thing. It was business as usual. I suppressed the disappointment in my heart and couldn't help but mock myself. It's already come to this. And I'm still hoping he'll say something for me. How could that be possible? Ji Zheng's mom is a very controlling person. Back then, she thought his first love was too strong-willed and hard to manage. So she threatened to kill herself to force him not to be with her. Then she chose me, someone whose parents are both university professors, with good conditions and a soft temperament. I still remember when we were serving tea during the wedding ceremony. Mom didn't take it for a long time, instead using the opportunity to lecture me on how I should take good care of Ji Zheng in the future. She said he was working hard outside, but didn't mention that I had left my hometown to come to a place where I didn't know anyone to work with him. Later, Ji Zheng's mother also came often, and sometimes I really felt that Mom was strange. Mom couldn't stand seeing Ji Zheng and me get along well. Actually, after we got married, we had a good period for a while. Ji Zheng seemed to want to get along well with me, and we even planned to go to Hawaii for our honeymoon. But when Mom found out, she insisted on coming along. We didn't want to bring her, but she didn't say much. Instead, she would cry whenever Ji Zheng came home, making sure he could see her. There was nothing we could do, so we had to agree to take her with us. Those days were supposed to be the happiest of my life, but now I can't even bear to think about them. It was a complete mess. Mom thinks I should be Ji Zheng's nanny, that I don't need to have feelings for him, and that I just need to take care of his life. And the worst part is that she always smiles on the surface, but behind my back, she torments me. For example, I hate eating celery because I think it has a strange taste. So I never cook it at home. But after Mom came, she would say she wanted to cook for us so I could rest. But she would always include celery in every meal. Every time I said I didn't like it, Mom would act guilty and say she was old and couldn't remember. Then she'd keep smiling and forcing celery onto my plate. Xiao Jiang, try Mom's celery. I promise it's different from the store-bought kind. It's really delicious. It made me unable to eat, but I felt bad refusing. I've complained about this to Ji Zheng a few times, and he'd get impatient and say, "Your mom is so old and still has to cook for you. You're not even grateful. And you're talking bad about her. Do you think that's appropriate? Jiang Yao?" Or on hot summer days when Ji Zheng goes to work, Mom says she can't find the air conditioner remote and can't turn it on. Every time Ji Zheng comes back, the remote magically reappears. I've told her many times not to touch my underwear, I'll wash them myself. But every time I take them off and put them in the laundry basket, she manages to throw them into the washing machine with my socks. Yet she always washes Ji Zheng's underwear separately, never mixing them with socks. These aren't big deals, but these little things add up and can really drive someone crazy. Over time, I became increasingly depressed. Ji Zheng noticed the things Mom was doing, but when he was a child, there was a flood in his hometown, and it was Mom who carried him on her shoulders to save his life. Later, he was rescued, but Mom, having exhausted her last ounce of strength, was swept away by the flood. Fortunately, Mom was lucky and was pulled out of the water by a neighbor who waded through the floodwaters. However, Mom had been in the water for too long and developed a lifelong illness. Whenever it was rainy or cloudy, her joints would ache terribly. Ji Zheng always felt guilty toward Mom and couldn't bring himself to say a single word of criticism to her. So he simply avoided us, either finding excuses to work overtime after work or staying in the garage without coming upstairs, avoiding the conflict between us. It was around that time that the last remnants of warmth between us vanished. Our relationship began to deteriorate, eventually becoming irreparable. This time, I didn't hold back my anger. I looked Mom straight in the eye. Weren't you the one who brought my parents here? What does that have anything to do with me? Mom was taken aback. Xiao Jiang. You. I took a step forward. Don't always bring up how Jijing supports the family. I had a job back then, but he made me quit and join his company, saying they needed a reliable accountant. Later, when the company was running smoothly, weren't you the ones who pushed me out and made me quit to take care of him? I won't even mention that I used to make 2,000 or 3,000 a month. Just think about how much it costs to hire a maid to cook 3 meals a day and clean the house. How am I being supported by him? Are you saying that if I don't marry him, he'll quit? Jijing stood up. Jiang Yao. How dare you talk to your mother like that? I exploded, storming up to him and shouting, "That's your mom, not mine. Don't give me that crap. She didn't give birth to me or raise me for a single day. I only called her mom out of respect for you. Now that I'm divorcing you, you're willing to go around calling her mom? I'm not that pathetic." Jijing frowned, about to speak, but I cut him off. Now you know how to talk down to me? What about when your mom forced me to eat celery? What about when your mom wouldn't let me turn on the air conditioner in the middle of summer and tortured me? What about when your mom insisted on going on our honeymoon with us? You cowardly piece of trash. You only dared to hide in the garage and didn't say a word. Jijing, you have the nerve to say that to me? What kind of man is your mom? And what kind of person are you? I shouted and screamed. All the pent-up resentment and anger from the years poured out. And by the end, my eyes were red. My rationality completely gone. Almost. The whole family was scared stiff. Jijing's eyes widened, and all the words stuck in his throat. After a moment, his expression grew complicated. Was it just my imagination? Or did I see a fleeting glimpse of guilt? My father was so angry his face turned ashen, while my mother hugged me and began to cry. "Emily," she said in a trembling voice. I buried my face in my mother's arms and wept silently. At this moment, I finally understood who I had wronged the most. It was my parents, who had initially opposed my relationship with Jijing but had been forced to agree by my stubbornness. And it was myself, who had suffered so much. Look at this child. Is this really worth crying over? Jijing's mother quickly recovered her composure and forced a smile. We're all family. It seems you have some resentment toward your mother. Maybe Mom is getting old and her mind isn't as sharp as it used to be. And she doesn't know how to please you. But Xiao Jiang, Mom has always treated you like her own daughter. Those words might have fooled the love-struck me of the past. But my mother, at her age, turned away and spat out. I'm not dead yet. Do I need you to be my mother? Jijing's mom awkwardly interjected. What are you saying? The child is still young and doesn't understand. You're so old. Why are you acting like a child? My mom sneered and grabbed my arm. Back then, you begged and cried to marry him. And your parents had no choice. Now that you've finally come to your senses. That's good. Come on. Let's go home. Saying this, the three of us started to walk out. Jijing hurried over to stop us. Mom, today was all a misunderstanding on Jiang Yao's part. Please don't. My father roughly pushed his arm away and coldly said, I never agreed to her marrying you back then. But Emily liked you. So we had no choice. We didn't ask for a dowry. Didn't ask for a house or a car. And even gave Emily 500,000 yuan as a dowry. All to ask you to owe us a favor and treat her well in the future. How could you agree to that back then? Jijing was speechless under my father's relentless questioning. My father suppressed his anger. You said you'd treat her well. But what about now? My father had always been a cheerful man. Every time Jijing came over, He would call him son-in-law with respect. During festivals, even if Jijing didn't come back, my father wouldn't mind. He even told me not to argue with Jijing, saying that he was busy with his career and couldn't be distracted from important matters. This was the first time he had spoken so harshly. Jijing, filled with shame, stepped back. Dad. Don't call me Dad. I don't have a son like you. Jijing's mom tried to say something else, but my mom turned away angrily. Get out of here. Don't make me hit you. My mom is the gentlest Southern woman, always speaking softly. This was the first time I realized she could be so protective of her son. In the end, I still couldn't go back home. Mainly because there's still a month-long cooling-off period. Plus I need to handle the property division. My parents had to go back to work, so they left me some money and told me, "Don't be hard on yourself. Take this month to relax and enjoy yourself. If there's anything, just let us know." That night, lying in the hotel bed, I slept soundly for the first time in ages. For years after the wedding, I don't know if it was because of Jijing's mom or his relationship with Lynn Laura, but I started suffering from severe insomnia. Sometimes I'd lie awake all night, unable to sleep, until dawn. There was a period when I didn't want to do anything. Feeling exhausted and wondering why I was even alive, it all felt pointless. After going to the hospital for a diagnosis, it turned out to be moderate depression. They prescribed medication, but it didn't help much. I still couldn't sleep. Now, when I close my eyes, I feel a sense of relief. I can finally have good dreams again. I've started applying for jobs. Although my parents say they'll support me and let me relax for a while longer, I no longer want to be disconnected from society. Actually, the university I graduated from is better than Jijing's. Back then, I received job offers from the Big Four accounting firms through campus recruitment. But I didn't work there for long before Jijing told me to quit. At the time, his company's finance department was short-staffed, and he couldn't find a reliable replacement. So he asked me to join his company. Later, when he found someone suitable, he made me quit again. So for the past few years, I've been a housewife. Sometimes I see my classmates' posts on social media about their daily lives. Some have achieved their dreams, working at the Big Four or moving to Wall Street abroad. Others have started their own businesses or returned to their hometowns to take the civil service exam, and they seem happy with their families. Only I, after all these years, have nothing left except a failed marriage and a mess of my life. At least I'm still young and can start over. When I returned to the hotel that evening, my phone suddenly buzzed with a notification. It was the home security camera, alerting me that someone had entered the house. I was about to swipe it away, but accidentally tapped on it instead. The video showed Jijing entering the house with Lynn Laura. I froze and didn't close the video. I had just left, and he couldn't wait to bring her home. Of course, he probably couldn't wait any longer. When I mentioned divorce, he was probably overjoyed inside. Jijing seemed drunk, his eyes half closed and stumbling. Lynn Laura struggled to support him and help him lean against the sofa, then poured him a glass of water. Jijing took a sip and immediately spat it out, frowning and saying, "Cold water? Where's the hangover soup?" Lynn Laura sighed helplessly. "What hangover soup? I don't know how to make it. Just drink some water for now." Jijing threw the cup on the ground, staggered to his feet, and Lynn Laura curled her lips, supporting him toward the bedroom. This is disgusting. Thinking about them having sex on the bed where I once slept, I couldn't help but feel nauseous. But before long, Jijing came running out of the bedroom half naked. Lynn Laura, wearing only a small tank top, rushed to pull him back. But he suddenly shook off her hand and slurred, "You're not my wife. You're not." Lynn Laura bit her lower lip. "I'm Laura. Didn't you say you wanted to divorce your wife? No. I didn't. Jijing waved his hands incoherently. I didn't divorce her. I won't divorce her. You're not my wife. Who are you? Get out! Lynn Laura was both angry and frustrated. So she hurriedly threw on some clothes and slammed the door shut. Jijing tripped and fell to the ground, groaning in pain. Jiang Yao. I fell. The living room was silent. He muttered again, Jiang Yao. My head hurts. Come rub it for me. No one responded. He lay there in the living room, looking disheveled, and fell asleep. I put down my phone, unsure of how I felt. I thought that after the divorce, Jijing would immediately be with Lynn Laura. I thought he liked her very much. Jijing is a man of principles. At least when it comes to me. He didn't allow me to tell anyone at the company about our relationship. He didn't allow me to eat in the car. He didn't allow me to have too many things. But none of these rules applied to Lynn Laura. He had no principles when it came to her. Sometimes I hate him. If I didn't know how blatantly he favored her, I wouldn't feel so pitiful. How tragic. I laughed coldly. He must have brought me here just to serve him. Every time Jijing got drunk outside, I would brew him a hangover soup, massage his head until he fell asleep, and then prepare his favorite light breakfast the next morning. He must have gotten used to being taken care of like this. At 2 in the morning, I woke up thirsty and went to get a drink, but I couldn't fall back asleep. After thinking for a while, I turned on the surveillance camera again. Jijing was already awake, sitting alone on the sofa in the pitch-black night, staring blankly into space, lost in thought. He didn't seem fully awake yet. After a long time, he clutched his stomach and whispered hoarsely, Jiang Yao. My stomach hurts so much. Where's my stomach medicine? Jijin had been out working and socializing too much in the past few days, and drinking had ruined his stomach. Over the years, although I had taken good care of him, his stomach still hurt whenever he drank. I had organized the medicine into categories and placed them in boxes, labeling each box with the dosage and expiration date using sticky notes for easy reference. He had taken the medicine so many times, yet he still didn't know where it was. The surveillance camera was connected to my phone, but I didn't say a word, just watched coldly. Jijing bent over slightly and shouted hoarsely, Jiang Yao! Jiang Yao! The only response was the ticking of the clock in the night. So he struggled to stand up and began searching for the medicine. The cabinet I had neatly organized was in complete disarray. He threw everything on the ground and finally found the medicine box I had hidden under the TV cabinet. Jijing picked it up but didn't take the medicine. He just stared blankly at the sticky note on top. I could recall the words even with my eyes closed. Dashi aluminum carbonate magnesium tablets. Chewable. 1 to 2 tablets per dose. 3 times daily. 1 to 2 hours after meals or before bedtime. I had written it out carefully, stroke by stroke. I was filled with naive and foolish love, believing that true feelings could be exchanged for true feelings. In the end, I realized that what I thought was selfless devotion was nothing but trash in others' eyes. Something to be kicked aside without a second thought. Jijing was still crouched there, staring intently at the medicine box without moving. After an unknown amount of time, he slowly buried his head in his knees and remained silent. That night, he didn't take his medicine but instead smoked alone in the living room. He sat there silently all night. When I went to Jijing's company to audit the accounts and divide the assets, I ran into Lynn Laura. I pretended not to see her and tried to walk past her. Actually, when it comes to infidelity, I've never liked to blame women for everything. If Jijing had been able to control himself, none of this would have happened. But Lynn Laura stepped forward and blocked my path. Jiang Yao, right? I want to talk to you. I sized her up. She was indeed a recent graduate, full of youthful energy, and completely unashamed in her provocation. It was as if she had already claimed the position of Mrs. G. I felt there was nothing to discuss. We wouldn't have any further dealings in the future. But Laura didn't see it that way. She took a step forward. I think we need to talk. I want to discuss something about Jijing. You don't mind spending half an hour, do you? I thought about it and agreed. Mainly, I didn't want to be bothered by her. If I didn't agree today, she might come after me tomorrow. Besides, I wanted to hear what she had to say. At the coffee shop downstairs from the company, Laura ordered a cup of Blue Mountain coffee and smiled. The coffee here is very fragrant. I heard the beans are personally brought back by the owner and carefully hand-ground. Jijing loves this coffee the most. I forced a smile. A young woman just entering society, still carrying a hint of innocence yet pretending to be tough, always thinking she can manipulate others' emotions. I impatiently asked, "What do you really want to say?" Laura took a sip of coffee. "Jijing doesn't like you. He told me himself. I appreciate that you had the sense to divorce him. But since we're already separated, I don't think there's any need to keep in touch." I understand. I guess last night Jijing called my name and chased her away, making her feel humiliated and insecure, which is why she came here today to assert her claim on me. I lowered my eyelids. First of all, whether we divorce or not is between the two of us. You're an outsider and have no right to meddle. I'm not divorcing today. So what can you do about it? Secondly, Jijing and I are legally married. What gives you the right to speak to me? You're the third party who meddled in someone else's marriage? Do you believe me or not? I can expose the evidence of you destroying someone else's family, and you'll have to pack your bags and leave immediately. Do you think, after all these years of hard work at the company, Jijing would choose you over me? After saying that, I looked up at Laura. I don't want to argue with you. I find this humiliating. But if you dare to come near me again, I won't be so lenient. Laura's face turned ashen, and she clenched her teeth tightly, unable to utter a word. I stood up and sneered. Oh, right. His family only drinks instant coffee. You've never had real hand-ground coffee, have you? Saying that, I picked up my bag and left. After going upstairs, Jijing hurriedly ran to the finance office. His expression was complicated, as if he wanted to say something but didn't know how to start. Finally, he managed to say, "Have you eaten yet? Let's go eat together later." I looked at him in surprise, noticing his cautious expression. Jijing bit his lip and turned his head away. Jijing, who had always been so cold toward me. What's going on? Did he drink too much last night and hasn't sobered up yet? Is he trying to make amends with me? Jijing whispered. I've thought it over. I was wrong before. I won't contact Laura anymore. I'll send her to the branch office and make sure she doesn't show up in front of you again. I frowned. Jijing, have you lost your mind? He instinctively grew angry but suppressed it and continued. I don't think we need to go this far. We've been together for so many years. Jiang Yao, let's just forget about this. I sneered. You're willing to break up with Laura? Jijing said indifferently. We were just temporarily interested in her. Don't overthink it. We didn't do anything. I believe that. Even when Jijing was closest to Laura, he never stayed out all night. Yesterday, he even pushed her away. I suspect he's just looking for the shadow of his first love in Laura. But what does it matter? He'll always love someone else. Never me. I don't care. I remained expressionless. Divide the assets quickly. I'm waiting to get the divorce papers and go back to my hometown. Jijing frowned. Jiang Yao. It was you who begged me to marry you. saying you'd die without me. What's wrong with you now? Is it really just because of some potato chips? Even now, he's still bringing up the potato chips. After all these years in the business world, how could he not know what really matters to me? He's just deliberately avoiding the real issue. I leaned closer to him and whispered, Ji Zheng, do you know what the world's non-renewable resources are? He looked confused. What? Coal, crude oil, natural gas, and love. Ji Zheng froze. Love is truly a mysterious thing. It can be the strongest armor and the sharpest spear in the world, unstoppable and relentless. But love is also the most fragile thing in the world, easily worn away without notice. My love has been completely exhausted, like a fire that has burned out. It's gone. Ji Zheng didn't know if he was losing his mind, but he started mistaking me for someone else. He started calling and texting me every day. Nothing important. Just things like, I found a nice restaurant. Want to go tonight? Let's go on another honeymoon. How about Miami this time? The gardenias by the roadside are blooming beautifully. Let's buy a pot to keep at home. He seemed to have suddenly changed his personality. I even started to wonder if Ji Zheng had been possessed by something unclean. These were the kinds of messages I used to send him. He just rarely replied. After he started dating Lynn Laura, we barely spoke at all. After thinking it over, I think I understand. Ji Zheng is panicking. People are inherently selfish creatures. All our actions are driven by the desire to make our own lives more comfortable. When he was with me, he found me boring and sought the feeling of first love with Lynn Laura to make himself happier. But now he suddenly realized that I could also leave him. And he didn't want to lose someone who loved him wholeheartedly and took such good care of him. When he compared the two, he still felt that I was more important. After all, young girls are everywhere. But there's only one fool who loves him this much. So he wants to retreat back into his comfort zone. Even if it means getting rid of Lynn Laura. Does he love me? I don't think he does. Perhaps he didn't love his first love either. Otherwise, why would he give in just because mom disagreed and break up with her? He doesn't love Lynn Laura either. Otherwise, he wouldn't have cut ties with her so easily. He doesn't love me either. He's just addicted to the comfort and security I give him. He just wants someone to always be there for him. Someone he can turn to. To be honest, when I think back now, I can't believe how pathetic I was. He and mom treated me so badly. Yet I still put up with it. Maybe being so obsessed with love really makes you lose your humanity. You have to suffer enough. Cry until you have no tears left. And hit a dead end before you're willing to turn back. In the days that followed, Ji Zheng was like a different person. Coming to the hotel lobby every day to find me. He would call me. I brought you your favorite xiaolongbao. Come down and try them. His tone even carried a hint of flattery. Just like he used to. I suddenly remembered that when we were together, I loved those xiaolongbao. But the shop was too far away and didn't deliver. Only when Ji Zheng came back would he pass by on his way. But I asked him many times to bring some for me. And he never did. Not once. Every time I asked, he either said he forgot or was too tired. Now he's thinking about buying them for me. Unfortunately, I don't want to eat them anymore. I didn't respond to Ji Zheng anymore. After a month of cooling off, I called him directly and told him to come get the divorce papers. Ji Zheng didn't want to come at first. Jiang Yao, I really don't think we need to take this far. I said I'll change. And besides, you're so old now. How will you live after the divorce? He's still saying the same thing. Don't bother. Ji Zheng, you wouldn't dare not want to divorce me. Would you? I mocked him. Why are you being so clingy? Like a dog? Those were his words to me before. And now I'm giving them back to him. Ji Zheng didn't get angry. He just lowered his head and said in a hoarse voice, "So, you won't come back, will you?" I replied firmly, "Yes." The setting sun stretched Ji Zhang's shadow out long, and I noticed he seemed much thinner, his shadow alone and slender on the ground. Finally, he whispered, "I understand." The divorce papers were finalized smoothly. Ji Zhang didn't say a word about dividing the property, letting me take half of his assets. When Ji Zhang's mother found out I wanted half the property, she nearly cursed herself hoarse. The last remnants of her hypocrisy were torn away, and she screamed at me, calling me shameless, saying I was after her son's money and only knew how to leech off him. I didn't listen to the end and just snapped back. "Mind your own business. If you meddle anymore, you'll shorten your own life." Then I hung up the phone. Ji Zhang's mom resorted to her old tricks again, threatening to kill herself to force him not to give me any money, insisting he sue me so I'd have to leave with nothing. But this time, for some reason, he didn't listen to her. I didn't care either. I landed an interview at an accounting firm, not one of the big four, but still decent. Fortunately, they had a branch near my home, so I applied and started working there right away. My parents stopped pressuring me to go on blind dates or get married. Every day after work, I'd go home to eat, and if I had nothing to do, I'd go out with my parents to travel or take a stroll. Every day was filled with joy. I never thought about the past again. Only occasionally, in the middle of the night, would I feel like I was in a different world. Those nights of crying, I once thought were pains I'd never forget in my lifetime. I thought I'd never be able to move on. But now, I can't even remember how sad I was back then. I stopped taking my medication and no longer feel depressed. I sleep 8 hours every night and haven't had insomnia since. It's so good. I heard about what happened later from a mutual friend. After divorcing me, Ji Zhang fell into a downward spiral, drinking every day and neglecting his company. Several major contracts went wrong. The cash flow dried up, and eventually he had no choice but to declare bankruptcy. Mom forced him to go on blind dates, but he refused to go, got drunk, and cursed at Mom, saying it was all her fault we got divorced and telling her to get out. Mom was so angry she had a stroke and was hospitalized. Ji Zhang didn't care, and his father was just a deadbeat, leaving Mom alone in the hospital. I don't know how she's doing now. Laura broke up with him but didn't change her ways. She started seeing another high-ranking executive at the company, but his wife found out and caused a scene at the office, scratching her face. She even hung a banner outside the company and rented a car to drive around with a loudspeaker. "Thank you, Ms. Laura from Xinyao, for helping my husband solve his physical problems for free." She also somehow obtained the nude photos she sent to that senior executive and forwarded them to everyone in the company's email. Laura was beaten up several times in public and eventually couldn't stay at the company anymore. It said she's mentally unstable now and was taken back to her rural hometown by her parents. That friend sighed and said, "You know, back then you two were so good together. Everyone envied old G for having such a great wife. Why did he have to go and ruin everything?" After hanging up the phone, I didn't know how I felt. Maybe I felt a little relieved, but also a bit complicated. Maybe people never appreciate what they have until it's gone. It's just a pity that no one will wait forever. Emily, come out and see the place your dad and I picked out. Let's go to Spain for a vacation on the 11th. Okay? My mom called me from outside. I put down my phone and smiled. Coming! The cold night is over. When we turn around, the dawn will be there. Extra chapter, Ji Zhang's perspective. When I got home, Jiang Yao was sitting on the sofa, and there was no food on the dining table. She said, "Let's get a divorce." I stopped in my tracks and couldn't help but laugh coldly. Here we go again. Does she not remember how she cried and begged me after she mentioned divorce last time? She said it was because of the potato chips on the passenger seat. I remembered, those were the ones Laura ate in my car yesterday. Is that really the reason? I couldn't understand. What are you freaking out about? But she didn't cry or confront me like she used to. She just said coldly, "Yes. It's because of that." She already knew about me and Laura. So what's the big deal about some potato chips? I didn't feel like listening to her ramble on. So I said casually, "Fine. Jiang Yao. Don't regret this." I knew she would regret it. Jiang Yao loved me so much that she gave up everything to be with me. All these years. No matter how badly I treated her, she still stayed by my side. She's the one who's afraid I'll abandon her. When have I ever been afraid she'd leave me? I didn't expect her to be serious this time. Even when I called both sets of parents, she didn't back down. I'm getting annoyed. We've been like this for so many years. Besides, haven't I given her enough? Over the years, I've provided her with everything she needed, food, clothing, and more. When have I ever shortchanged her? I admit I do like Laura. She reminds me of my first love. Though I can barely remember what my first love looked like. That youthful feeling makes me feel young again. What's wrong with a man looking for a little excitement outside the home? Besides, I haven't done anything serious with her. And I haven't let her threaten Jiang Yao's position. Why does she have to be so stubborn? She's always been so annoying. She said a lot of things about how my mother treated her badly. I fell silent. I remembered that my mother had been a little harsh with her. My mom is overly controlling and can't stand seeing us get along well. I know that. But what can I do? She's my mom. But when her dad asked me how I had agreed to it back then, I felt a pang of guilt. Jiang Yao has been really good to me. But over the years, I haven't been very good to her. She left, taking only a few clothes with her. She's gone, and I'm not going to die without her. The earth will keep spinning without anyone. And now I can be with Laura openly. But it's strange, I suddenly lost interest in Laura. When I'm with her, I can't help but think about what Jiang Yao is doing right now. When I was drunk, she poured me water. But it was cold. If Jiang Yao were still here, she would have made me some hangover soup. No matter what time of night it was. Whenever I got up to drink, the soup was never too hot or too cold. Just warm. By the time I woke up in the morning, she had already prepared a full meal. Then she would gently tell me not to drink anymore for a few days and to take care of my stomach. At the time, I didn't think much of it. Now that I think about it, did she stay up all night taking care of me? Looking at Laura's meticulously made-up face, I suddenly felt a wave of nausea and decided to kick her out. When I woke up in the middle of the night, I was lying on the floor, my stomach aching terribly. Where was Jiang Yao? How could she leave me here alone? I shouted for her, but the only sound in the living room was the ticking of the clock. That's right. I suddenly realized. Jiang Yao had already left. She was divorcing me. I had to get up and find the medicine myself. Every time I frowned before, she would bring it to me. But now I couldn't find it anywhere. Where did she put the medicine? I found it. There was a note she had written on it. Dashi aluminum carbonate magnesium tablets. Chewable. 1 to 2 tablets per dose. 3 times daily. 1 to 2 hours after meals or before bedtime. I froze. Memories that had faded away flooded back. I recalled when we first got married. She had put all the medicine into a box and labeled each one with a note. I mocked her. Are you crazy? This is like taking off your pants to fart, completely unnecessary. She didn't get angry. Just smiled and said, "You always take your medicine haphazardly. This way, if I'm not home, you'll know what to do." At the time, I dismissed her, thinking she was acting like an old woman, meddling in my business. She was always hovering around me 24/7, how could she not be home? Now, thinking back, my heart aches for no reason. It turns out she really could be gone. In the end, I didn't know if it was stomach pain or heartache. It felt like my organs were all twisted into a knot. Jiang Yao. I suddenly missed her so much. Jiang Yao didn't look back this time. No matter how I tried to stop her. On the day we got the divorce certificate, she left for her hometown without looking back once. The house was still the same house. But for some reason, it felt so empty that I couldn't bear it. I dared not go home. Every corner of the house was filled with the scent and traces of her life, almost driving me mad. If I hadn't experienced her warmth, her departure wouldn't have been so unbearable. So this is what heartache feels like? Before I lost consciousness from drinking, I couldn't help but think. So this is how she felt before. Later, I started secretly checking her Weibo. She'd gained some weight. There was a sparkle in her eyes. She looked truly happy. That's when I realized she truly let go. And I finally understood that the hardest part wasn't the day she left. It was every day she wouldn't come back.